So it's a good question where the myth came from, and I've not actually seen any definitive answer on this. I've seen a few different explanations. Now, the best one I've seen is back in the day, TVs used to be cathode ray tube devices. And for those who aren't aware, who grew up with LCDs, CRTs worked by having an electron gun draw the image line by line on the screen. And it took about 120 refreshes per second, which was interlaced. So that became effectively 60 full frames per second before humans stopped actively noticing the flicker of the image changing. And my guess is that that's probably where the 60 comes from is, oh, look, that's the refresh rate we need for people to stop noticing the flicker. That must be because the eye only refreshes that quickly. But as you suggest here, it's not true. And the reason it's not true is for a couple reasons, really. First, the eye is not a digital device. It does not see in frames per second, period. The eye is a dynamic sensor where different parts of the eye are getting different data at different points in time and updating your image in effect differently and differentially. The center of your eye has what are called cones, which detect color. They require a lot of light energy in order to activate, and they are extremely fast. Rods, on the other hand, which we see more of on the peripheral vision, have a larger field of view, meaning that they have effectively lower resolution. They see only in black and white. They don't detect specific wavelengths of color, and they refresh more slowly, about a fifth to a tenth the speed of the cones. But they're super sensitive. They can go off with as little as a single photon of light in some experiments. And they're really good at detecting motion because of how the retina is wired in the periphery. And that's why when you want to detect motion, it's actually better to look away from where you want to perceive the motion, and you'll see it better than if you stare at it, because your cone vision is really for high resolution detail mapping and is really bad at detecting motion in comparison. And then your brain is taking all of this information and turning it into what you see. Certain estimates trying to get a rough frames per second have gotten trained individuals up to like 1/1000th, right? So like 1,000 frames a second. And most humans can reasonably pick up on changes that occur on a digital image of like 1/150, so about 150 frames a second. Anyway, hope that answers your question. Again, always happy to talk more on these topics, and I really appreciate the conversation.